Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Seches Bikurim, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Zayin and Ches Daily Double. Mishnah Zayin states, Hifresh Bikurim of Machar Sadeu. You separated Bikurim, you picked your grapes, whatever, that were Bikurim. And then you sold your field before you brought the Bikurim to Yerushalayim. Maybe the Eino Kore, you still have to bring the Bikurim. But you don't read the Parsha because it's not called Admascha, you don't own the land anymore. Vashani Milsam, and the person who bought the land, and now he is going to take off the first grapes. And maybe he doesn't have to bring because the Rav explains he got it yayom pamachas megid ve'enom magid shtei pa'amim. Right? You only one person, only one haggadah on a specific species of that fruit. So therefore, the first person's right. He's bringing bikurim. The second person doesn't have to bring because that species is already bought by the first person. Maybe the kore. Right, from a different species, let's say the first person only took from grapes, and now you sold the field, and now you're taking the rimonim, so therefore every species is its own category. Maybe the kore. He says, even from the grapes, the second person bought the field, and now he has first growing grapes in his new field, the first grapes that grew. He also would bring, because then it says haggadah acha, it says only per person. For every person, they can have their own haggadah on every mean of fruit, on every species of the zayin minim. You separated Bikurim, you prepared to bring them to Yerushalayim. Nivzazu, they were stolen. Namaku, they became rotten. Nignavu, they were stolen stealth, right, behind your back. Avdu, they got lost. Oshinitmu, or they became tameh, right, not on purpose. Maybe acherim tachteim inakora, you are responsible. You're chayav b'achrayus, you're responsible to replace them. But you don't say the parsha inakora because they're not the original ones. Vashneim, enam chayavim aleim chomish. The second ones, the replacements, they're not exactly considered to be because they're not the bikurim, they're not the first fruit, they're the second fruits. But now that's all you have left. So therefore, even though, right, you're chayav to bring, right, we'll discuss more the difference between the chayav to bring and the chayav of kriya over here. But you're still chayav to bring it, but you're not chayav chomesh, because the concept of chomesh is only a zar sha'achal, right, a person who was not a kohen. It's like truma. But it's matnas kahuna, so if he eats it, normally you're chayav, I guess, bisam de shamayim, maybe, or a lav, at least in Gemara Makos mashma. But you're not chayav chomish because chomish has to be on the actual bikurim themselves, and these are just replacements. Nitmu ba'azara. Let's say you already brought them to azara, and the Rav and the Mefarshim explain not dafka the azara. You already got the harabayas. No fates no kore. In that case, right, you pour it out. Right, they're tameh. So you're not going to give tameh fruits to the kohen. The bikurim doesn't apply to tameh fruits. But you have to give the basket. The pasuk says, the kohen takes the basket from your hand. So sometimes it implies even if there's no actual fruits in the basket because they're tameh or they fell out, you still have to give them the basket, which we'll see later on in the Masechta. You're supposed to make very fancy, make it out of gold or silver if you can. You pour it out, be'eno kore, and you give the basket to him, and of course you don't do kriya because you're not really doing the mitzvah of bikurim over here. I'm going to discuss over here why it is. There's a lot to discuss in this Mishnah Ches because it says a lot of interesting halachas over here about achrayas or not. That you are responsible to bring it, but not responsible, not called kore. I want to talk more about if they became tameh in the azara. Once you brought them to azara, so therefore you don't have to. You're not chayav achrayas. Why are you chayav achrayas before you get to the base of Mikdash? And once you get to the base of Mikdash and onus happens to become tameh, you're not chayav to replace them. I'll discuss that in Ian Mitzion coming up next.